did I leave my calipers?
Empty. Empty.
You're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself. It seems as though there's a pattern in the wall. That can't be natural. My, these smelling salts are strong stuff. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs.
I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. the good ship Merryweather. But you can stand at ease there, Private. You do realize you're not in the army here, don't you?
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Sauce. For good.
She frowns and peers at you closely, resting the back of one hand on your forehead and taking your pulse with the other.
That can't be natural.
Delusions such as these are rare, but not unheard of. I recommend a cup of mulled wine and another night's sleep. Just take it easy. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those sauce spells of yours? See what happens.
No known associates. In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time with the others.
Oh, do go on. I won't hold it against you. Promise. My, aren't we a meek little lamb? Perhaps I needn't have collared you at all, though it does look darling on you.
Associates. In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time with the others.
So let's just leave it on, shall we? Because to answer your question, what this collar does is this. It makes you unable to cast Sauce. For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's. Is he? Oh well. Some problems simply sort themselves, don't they?
No lesions, no trauma. He was bled by magic.
Good gods!
It
There's
seems as though there's a power
been a murder here.
that can't be natural.
No lesions, no trauma. He was bled by magic. Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwoken followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. Two things scared the living daylights out of him. His own shadow and his own source. We'll find out who did this. Speaking of...
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. Didn't even stir. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. I thought as much. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks. I just want to catch whoever did this before they hurt anyone else. So, anything interesting for me? I'll take that as a no. So, anything interesting for me? Right, tick. But... no marks, no indications of a struggle.
Behind the Magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
No lesions, no trauma. He was bled by magic. No lesions, no trauma. He was bled by magic.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them.
Yes, this is a rare kind of...
Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does. It's a small ship. His name was Finn. Oddball. Looked to me like he saw something he wished he hadn't before he came here. We'll find out who did it, one way or another.
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass.
Yes, this is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
Off to the herd, little sheep. Away you go.
But who?
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just stick to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like. Rolling dice? Deciding fates.
She eyes you suspiciously.
Put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
Not the future, no, but I can read the past in flesh. Just like you. And I'm quite good at it, too.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad?
I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
Trying to hear anyway.
I'll tell you.
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, you lay awake thinking of someone back home. A very special someone. You were reminiscing about the things you used to do together.
Trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Of course it is. The truth's right there, skin deep. You may have to bite a bit deeper, though. Not every elf is as skilled in the art as I am. But anyway, don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with me. I don't lick and tell.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with him.
Don't worry, honey.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
I know it.
Never say never, though.
I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by
The
one.
woman keeps rolling her dice. She pays you no further notice.
To the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer. Go take your sub-story somewhere else.
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him. Noticing you, he straightens and beckons for you to come closer.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this tramp Ifan.
Coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again.
Are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magister's more concern than more appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck. He winks.
Pinches less that way, right?
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them. I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on. One of us.
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips as he leans back against the wall.
We just skipped to the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Sing us a song. I know you can. Be good, you scallywags.
It was one of them. I know it. They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
You look a little bit elfish.
One of us will kill our
Maybe your daddy was an elf.
picking us off one by one.
My daddy's name is Frida.
Part where I reassure you and
Do
you
you know
shut up.
Losa? She's a really good singer. I'm better. My mum doesn't like elves, but I have a secret. When I grow up, I'm gonna be an elf.
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Ah, there you are. Husband. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not-at-all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly, deathly allergical.
It was one of them. I know it. They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone else. What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right.
It was one of them. I know it.
Nope. Trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief. Take it easy, Chief. You don't want to get noticed for the wrong reason.
That right. I always knew you'd turn
Name? The Divine Order wants to know. Well, you aren't here on my list. Scrammy, we're trying to catch a killer here.
You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out and examines your face, tugging at your ears and prodding your nose.
Fascinating.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history?
You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us will kill our own.
Oh, please. I have no interest in that. Your books are too full of it already. No, I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind?
The elf's face freezes for just a second before he waves his hand dismissively.
Oh, it's just one of my idle curiosities. We mortals do like to consider these things, do we not? Now, please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book or respond to your questions.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship with it.
It's a register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far? Glad to hear it. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty.
Did you see the body? They ought to let you taste a bit. Maybe you'd find out who done it.
I've never dined on anything less than a dozen...
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Never thought you'd end up in prison, Garth.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship with it. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
The ship, of course.
You've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
More appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and
And?
are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless babes who never loved anyone but their own mums.
Right. I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves.
But there's more. Listen close.
You've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship with it.
There now, just like that.
Squeak!
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news.
Are all I was
never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn
It's
out
the wheel, the wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east.
We've got this one on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship with it.
Burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
That's enough.
Ask what you must. I've nothing to hide.
Seems to me you should be a little more afraid. There's a killer about, after all.
Till overboiling a bit of cabbage becomes a crime, I shall hold my head steady.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, got this wolf on a leash now.
Ah, so you've eyes as well as ears, eh? You'll go far, mate, even here.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable.
No indeed, boy. But that ain't my final destination.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship with it.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship with it.
Please, please, please. Be good, you scallywags.
I've a few questions for you.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten
You are
then,
Jill,
Nest.
aren't you? I ain't saying nothing.
Your kind always hung closest to our
Dwarves,
divine.
I'll come back to you. So you better be ready to talk here.
Well, we've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with him.
How dare you classify
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lip.
coming out of plague-stricken pigs?
There's nothing
If
else.
you'll be pardoning me, I'll be much obliged.
Chips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse.
I assure you, and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, we've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with him. That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, we've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with him.
It was one of them. I know it.
You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about
All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
That knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, we've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with him.
I'm inspecting your teeth, in case that wasn't spectacularly obvious.
You are Jill, aren't you? I ain't saying nothing.
Bloody dwarves, I'll come back to you, and you better be ready to talk here. There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. And suffer.
Ah, music to my beleaguered stomach. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
Never thought you'd end up...
Yes, I can tell from your vagabond chic, a bag is as good as a shirt kind of style. I shouldn't be getting my hopes up. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm
As soon
after.
as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship with it.
The very basics, then. I suppose that's a start. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. Let's evaluate, shall we? As per your own testimony, you can cook and groom, but you have the fashion sense of a monkey in a clown suit. Still, beggars can't be choosers. So without further ado, I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, you are my slave.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
My slave, of course. Oh, but I see. Yes, I suppose it must take some time for the full extent of this honor to sink in. Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we reach Fort Joy.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest.
It was one of them. I know it.
I'm trying to concentrate.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
Prepare yourself.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity.
Ifan raises his eyebrows.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying
You
on.
mind? I'm really rather...
Take care of yourself.
Keep those bolts trained on her. And if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
You seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter?
Murder most foul. And I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
Keep those bolts trained on her.
and if she
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer. Go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts Source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened? thing won't come off.
Not long before this thing snaps into splinters! Damn, that doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards! God damn it! Need to get off this wreck and quick! Great gods! Something's pounding on the hull!
The marking on the door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You recognize this. You press your palm against the door to open it. The wood feels neither cold nor warm, but simply grey. The color drains from your hand, and it doesn't budge. and are suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular, and a glorious jewel sits in the middle of his forehead. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia, muttering to himself.
No, no, no! What damn fools record knowledge on a pulped tree? It catches fire, it turns into must when wet, it cannot even resist acid. No wonder they're so bloody ignorant.
The skeleton looks up and notices you for the first time.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book, frantically flipping from page to page.
Yes, indeed. It's the look of someone that wants to read the bloody book he's holding. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Please, I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed me to take that primitive form. A mask that was stolen by that damned witch after her little scene. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands. Indeed. Just as sensible as getting off a sinking ship and leaving a fellow to his business. I would say good day, but it seems quite likely that you're about to die a rather terrible death, so...
The skeleton shrugs casually and returns to his book.
Please, my time is short.
You touch the door, your belly goes hollow and your skin goes pale. The door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your mind.
I need to get out of here! Now!
Divinity.